Hello, and welcome back to Civilization Education. This week for this video, we are not going to be going through Plato's Republic because at the end of Book 1, with the second part of the discussion with Thrasymachus, it goes off on a tangent. And honestly, I didn't really know how to handle that. And jumping right into Book 2 and the opening speech for that, I also didn't really know how to handle. So this month, I will be discussing justice with my wife.
Hello.
So, ignoring the fact that you hate philosophizing, what is justice?
That's a question. I don't know.
You don't know what is justice?
I mean, it's whatever is just.
Okay, ignoring the circular reasoning. Is justice to give what is owed? Is justice the advantage of the stronger?
Justice would be to, yes, I would say to give what is owed. Ultimately, yeah.
Okay. What is... Then what is owed? Give me a scenario in which justice is done by what is owed.
Well, if you steal someone's candy bar, then you would get then justice would be for the person to get the candy bar back and for you to get punished in a manner that is suitable for that level of crime.
Okay. Well, one, what if I've already eaten the candy bar? And two, what determines what is the punishment, the level of punishment suitable for the crime?
I'm not the one who makes those determinations. But no, if you already ate the candy bar, then it would be either on you to replace the candy bar or to compensate the candy bar by therefore paying that. And then I would say for something like that, the punishment that would be equal to that would probably be a fine on top of that. So, you figure out how did this inconvenience the person beyond just not having it? How did it cause their mental state to decline? These things, you put those and you try to determine how that works in a monetary value, because I don't think that stealing a candy bar is enough to, warrant being taken out of society by being put in jail or something, but it is enough for a fine.
Okay. So... what if this person... I stole the candy bar from them and I ate it. But had they eaten the candy bar, it would have killed them because they have a peanut allergy and they didn't know it had peanuts in it. So I just saved their life.
But that was not your intent. I mean, if it was your intent, then you would probably should. There are better ways to go about it than stealing it and eating it for yourself, such as warning them that it has candy. I mean, that it has peanuts in it, so that they don't eat it. And I suppose you could take it away from them if they continue to decide that they want to eat it anyways. But then that gets into other questions of what does someone have a right to?
So intention matters. So if I were to borrow something and never return it, even though I intended to return it, I just kept forgetting, then is that then elevated to stealing?
I would say it depends on the manner at which, for instance, have you been reminded a lot of times? And what did you agree to beforehand? For instance, like if you don't return this, there's a fee after a while, and then if you just don't pay the fee, that continues to pile up. But if you just borrow something from a friend and don't give it back, I think if you then, it's not just like you lost, if you find it again and just don't give it back to them and you just keep using it, I would say that you are stealing it. I wouldn't say you're stealing it if you just forget to give it back because you have it in a corner somewhere and they never tell you, they never remind you or ask you about it. Then it's not really stealing.
Okay. So then so then what you're saying is justice is highly situational and is not a strict objective standard.
Well, I mean, there isn't, like, justice looks different ways depending on the situation, yeah. I mean, justice is a objective thing, but the way that justice plays out depends on a lot of factors. I mean, obviously, I think, but that, depending on the severity of what you do, intention, plays into it less. Like, if you accidentally kill someone, you still killed someone. But intentionality still matters for how you are punished, but it's still severe. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's use an example from the book. Okay, so I have a sword, and then I lend you my sword. And then, so it would be just for you to give me back my sword when I acquired of it. However, when I inquire to get my sword back, I intend to go kill somebody with it. Would it still be just for you to give me back my sword?
If I know the intention that you're going to do is not just with the sword, such as killing another person, unless, you have a just, but that's a different question. If I know that you intend to do something unjust with the sword, then I would suggest that it is just for me to not provide you with the sword, because there are hierarchies to this, and I don't think that you are owed the sword if you are intending to do something, and I know that you are intending to do that. If I don't know what you're intending to do with the sword, then I should give it back to you, because it's yours. But if I have any idea what you are going to do with it is unjust, then that would take precedent over giving you the sword.
Okay, so if you don't know what I intend to do, and you give me back my sword, then you fulfill your part of justice.
Yes.
And then I go harm somebody with that, then I'm doing my own injustice, which has no bearing on you.
Yes.
But if you do know my intentions, then withholding my sword from me and you keeping it is doing justice.
Yes. Yes.
Seems a little inconsistent.
It's not, because it's you are not owed the sword if you intend to do something immoral with it, unjust with it. Then you are forfeiting your claim to justice because you don't want justice. You are forfeiting that because it's no longer just for you to have it. Because you are being unjust. This is why I don't like philosophy, because this is annoying. Because I don't have the right vocabulary for this. I'm tired.
Okay. And so, and this applies across all things, regardless if it was money or, like I said, weaponry or anything else.
Yeah.
So, you could withhold all and everything from me, everything that I have, and it would still be just because I intended to use that stuff to harm others.
Yeah. I think it's inherently unjust to knowingly allow someone, enable someone else to do injustice. And so you aren't entitled to justice if you don't think someone else is entitled to justice, and you intend to therefore use what you say as justice for you in order to do injustice to someone else.
Okay.
I didn't say that well, because that makes it sound like I don't think, you're entitled to like a, trial by jury or whatever, your peers or whatever, that, like, I'm not saying that you forfeit all just proceedings because you potentially did something or were going to do something just, but that that my responsibility is to do justice. So I can't forfeit that by doing something unjust, which would be enabling you to do something unjust.
Okay. What makes
unjust.
What makes what I'm seeking to do unjust?
Because you are seeking to do harm to someone else, and that is not what they, that's not necessarily, unless there's circumstances I don't know, like you have a legal ability to carry out this punishment, that's different, But as far as I know, if you are going to do something, you're going to use the sword to harm someone else, you are not giving them what they owe. You are giving something that you are giving to them something that is a penalty that they didn't deserve.
Okay, well, you just said something about me carrying out a legal right. So it is the law that determines what is just and unjust.
No. Well, it depends on what you mean by the law. Whose law? I would say that there is a moral standard that God determines what is just and unjust, and we have to go by that standard. And if the laws do not abide by that standard, then the laws can be unjust. But there is a certain there are certain gray areas, or there are certain, things that are not necessarily right or wrong, that the government has the ability to say, or even when it comes to, I think the government has the ability to grant someone the ability to punish another person. The government has the ability to punish. So I don't want to get into, like capital punishment because, whatever. But there is a right that the government has to enforce punishments in some way. So it's not always. So the law of the land doesn't determine what is, but within the laws, there is a right that the government has to make laws and enforce those laws.
Okay.
I can't. This is too hard.
Well, I thank you very much for doing this with me. Certainly a lot to mull over. And that is it for this episode of Civilization Education. And I will see you guys next month.